right, so we are up to day 154, going through my old journal. The quote for today says, "If you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun." And then it says, "Do you always obey the rules, or do you have some rebel in you? If you were going to be rebellious or break some rules, what would you do?" So we'll see what I have to say about this. If you're following along, take a minute to think about how you would respond. All right. So, am I a rule breaker? So, I said, I used to be a strict, and I have that in all caps, rule follower. I would actually pride myself on following the rules when I was young. At school, I always did my best to listen to the teacher and be a perfect student. I said, I don't necessarily regret doing that because, well, and I also say perfect student in the sense that, like, not that I was a teacher's pet, because I don't think I was ever like a teacher's pet, because I just didn't interact that much verbally because I was really shy. But by perfect, I meant like just not causing any trouble in class. Like I didn't, talk out of turn. I just kind of like would do my work, and that's it. I said, I don't necessarily regret doing that because it has gotten me to where I am today. But the more I learned about the history of our public education system and how difficult and damaging it can be for some children, for some types of children. Mont! Oh, I haven't seen him all day. Hi, baby. Okay, anyway. Monty. Let's see. So public education system and how it's set up can be difficult and damaging for some types of children being placed in that sort of environment. So I was shy. Monty, lay down. So that like kind of worked for me. But there are a lot of kids that can't stand just like sitting there all day and, learning in that way. So I said, now that I've learned all that, I'm not sure that I fully agree with it. I said, then again, I think a society where no one follows the rules would be chaos. So I don't know. I guess there needs to be some sort of balance. Looking at the question from a different perspective, I would say that even though I've typically followed most institutional rules, like at school, but I feel like I tend to rebel against many societal norms. For instance, I've never had a strong urge, I've talked about this a lot, to get married or have kids or live the stereotypical, suburban life that most women strive for. So yeah, I've always felt like I was a bit rebellious in that sense, but that's not really super rebellious, I guess. I said, I'm so thankful to live in a time where other women like me are able to share this view, and it makes me feel less alone. So yeah, like I've talked about this a lot. I don't want to go too far into this, but when I was younger, I always had this view that I would probably get married and have kids just because that's what everybody does. But I've never felt like the urge to do that. And I've always been like pretty independent and just like I was one of those kids that could just play by myself and just entertain myself a lot pretty easily. And it's weird because even though I was shy, I was still did things that were kind of like out of the ordinary for shy people. Like I would go places on my own, and I did do some traveling on my own, and I wasn't afraid to just like whenever I went to go work for Disney, I just decided to sign up for it and go, so I have done certain things, but for the most part I've stayed within the rules. But I don't know. I guess it just depends on what rules you're talking about. Like obviously if you work at it, just it's so weird because like at jobs I was one to always follow the rules, but I also like looking back, I'm like some employers like take advantage of the employees. So like following the rules leads to you getting taken advantage of, but then you can't really break the rules at work because you'll get fired. And so I don't know. And I think a lot of people, it seems like at least on social media, are starting to push back a little bit about employers taking advantage of people. But it does suck, because like, to live in society, even if things are kind of messed up, you do, if you want to have an easy time, you have to follow the rules to some extent, but then you can also get taken advantage of. So I don't know. I just had a thought. Yeah, and I've been thinking about this in the sense of like how women are expected to kind of like maintain themselves, because I have some ideas for some videos I want to do talking about some things that I've done to kind of like make my life easier as a woman. But I'm hesitant to do that because I don't think that that's necessarily like what needs to be done. So for instance, like shaving your legs, I got laser hair removal like a long time ago, and I feel like it's been beneficial to me because the accepted standard in society is that women shouldn't have hair, and that's helped me kind of fit into society because it's something that I didn't like doing, and so I found a way to take care of that. But now I'm like, but would it be better to just like be a woman like these girls that just show off like their hairy legs and their hairy underarms? Like, should we change the standard, change the rules? Or should I promote doing this thing that helps you follow the rules more easily, I guess? And same thing, like I was on Accutane when I was younger, and I think because of that, I haven't had like issues with my skin for a long time. And so a part of me is like, well, I'd like to make a video like talking about my experience with Accutane, but then I'm like, or should we just normalize people having acne because it's like a normal thing for people to have acne? So yeah, I'm kind of torn on that. Like, should we change the rules or try to fit into some of them? Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have for that one. So yeah, I don't know. I think overall it just kind of needs to be a balance. You know, if there's bad rules, you got to figure out, I guess, how to change them, but like it's hard to change when you've got a system set up. So I guess I don't really know the answer for that. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with day 155.